Danielle put a finish on it. If you're a writer looking for an editor, let me know. I finally finished The Crusade for Justice, an autobiography of Ida B. Wells from the 1920s. I have finished watching the African American history course on the Open Yale Courses site, and I really enjoyed that and was inspired by that course to get this book from the library. Ida B. Wells-Barnett lived from 1862 to 1931 and was most well known for her anti-lynching campaign. She traveled throughout England for 2 years, making speeches practically every day against the prevailing lynch law in the United States. She was really condemning the US for letting mobs lynch black men without any fair trial, and of course never punishing those who did the lynching. The title of her book is quite apt because she really was a crusader, someone who saw an injustice and did something about it. She had boundless conviction and energy to do what needed to be done for her people. She was always frustrated by the overall lack of support from blacks in the US. This is of course not to say that she didn't have any support, but I think she couldn't understand how the general population's indignation didn't lead to action the same way that it did for her. I've never read an autobiography quite like this one. It's over 400 pages. It's truly a biography of her work rather than of herself. The first 100 pages went by quickly because it covers her growing up, her education, and the beginning of her career as a journalist. The second 100 pages covered her campaign against lynching and had lots of primary sources and press publications from her speeches written in that very proper 1890s style. I'm not gonna lie, it was tough going. Eventually, she came back to the United States, got married, gave birth to a male child. Seriously, that's all we get to hear about that. And went on to have 3 more kids. The last half of the book covers all of the community organizing and social work she did for the rest of her life, including founding a women's club, the Negro Fellowship League, and being involved in the founding of the NAACP. She really worked as hard as she could to right wrongs and worked as hard as she could to get people to join her. I did enjoy reading about her interactions with people like Frederick Douglass, W.E.B. Du Bois, Jane Addams of Hull House, and her opinion on the work of Booker T. Washington. If you're interested in the politics of the women's clubs of Chicago in the early 1900s, or in the race riots of the early 20th century, if you love reading rather dry accounts of really incredible history, then I wholeheartedly recommend diving into this book. If that doesn't sound like your thing, I do recommend learning more about this amazing woman in a slightly more condensed form. Oh, and spoiler alert, it contains a real-life imperial affliction moment. Miss Wells-Barnett never finished writing her autobiography. It ends in the middle of a word. So not only do we not get anything personal about the woman herself, we don't even get to know any of her profound conclusions about race in America at the end of her life. Thanks for watching.